rural schools rising up and pushing back on a plan to overhaul Vermont's education system.
How to keep your taxes down is the focus, but as Calvin Cutler reports, many fear consolidating school districts could end the way of life in small communities.
If you ask just about anybody in the Caledonia County town of Peacham where their sense of community comes from, they'll tell you from within the four walls of their local school. A proposal in Montpelier to potentially consolidate school districts to save money in the education system is once again raising concerns about the future of the school. Governor Phil Scott's sweeping education reform plan aims to cut about $180 million from the $2.4 billion education fund. But consolidating over 130 school districts into about 5 is the concern amongst many, with small schools calling out the elephant in the room.
They see the governor's proposal for what it actually means to rural schools, and it means closure.
Former State Board of Education member Margaret McLean is worried Scott's proposal would dismantle public education, so she's spearheading a new alliance of small schools to push back on the plan. Education Secretary Zoe Saunders was not available for an interview, but others, like Peacham Select Board Chair Alfred Dedham, worry closures could create a negative feedback loop of young families leaving town.
Our community are the people that reside here and participate and interact with one another and take care of each other. And, you know, without that community, without that beating heart, everything else is just a shell and just a veneer.
But Governor Scott contends the system we have now is broken, where small towns cut school budgets to keep spending low, but face a tax hike anyway from the statewide education fund and spending in more affluent communities. The push for education reform sparked by rising costs across the board and a nearly 14% average tax increase last year and an 18% spike in Peacham. They say state lawmakers should focus on health care and other cost drivers before making changes to Vermont schools.
We want the legislature to focus on that issue of cost and not to wipe out the education system as we know it.
With about a month left until town meeting day, many schools across the state are warning their budgets to voters and crossing their fingers that more budgets pass this year than last. Reporting in Peacham, Calvin Cutler, Channel 3 News.